I do want to start with that and acknowledge and thank all the veterans, past and present, around the world for what they do for us and what they do for our freedom and our country, and we do greatly appreciate them here at the University of Kentucky, and I certainly do. So thank you for your service. As I mentioned after the game, just extremely difficult game. Extremely difficult outcome. Very proud of the way our team played and competed. And, across the board, really did some very good things to put our team in a position to win. As I mentioned afterwards, it's not some coaching, cliche or ways for you guys to pounce on me about it, but we have to find a way to get those yards, inches, yards, plays, critical moments. We have to find ways to execute and to make those plays happen. Right now, the way we're playing, the margin for error is extremely small, but we're playing extremely hard. Guys are doing a lot of good things. It gets down to a few plays. If you look at our league, there's probably 6 teams with a better record than us, and then everybody is lumped in there. 6, 7, from 7 to 14. It's extremely competitive, extremely close. There's plays here, plays there with all of us, and we're all trying to make those plays and win these close games. This is at least the second time this year that I come in here and you talk about a play here and a play there, and that's our job to find that. It's our job to do it. Felt like our guys, again, competed extremely well. We had an opportunity to win. In a game like that, it was weird in this sense. We had 9 possessions in the game. That's all the offensive possessions we had was 9. And so you look at some of those possessions and they were remarkable. Of course, the start of the game, with a 17-play drive and then a quick, explosive play after the block punt, and you get a 2-play drive. But after that, so you're talking about 7 possessions the rest of the game, and the last 3 ended on downs. And that's, the key, as we all know, that comes down to winning and losing. Converting a few of those at the end, or converting one of those at the end. That's compounded by a missed extra point again, or it is different. It's different in maybe possession 7, 8 as far as how you're trying to move the ball to get a field goal, if nothing else. And even at the end of the game, we could have got the field goal to tie. So we got to get that fixed. I don't have an answer for that other than to continue to work with the kickers that we have and build their confidence and get them better, because I know they can do it. So there's a lot of good, and there's a lot of things we need to get cleaned up and improve on.
How difficult is it to evaluate the direction of the offense? On one hand, you average 17 points a game, which puts a bunch of pressure on your defense and your special teams. But on the other hand, if you get 2 yards at the end, you're 3-1 with that offense. How do you make those decisions?
Yeah, it gets difficult. It really does. We kick that around every week, and as you know, and you watch our games, every play, every possession is critical. Even whether you throw it or run it, because we have a lot of explosive runs in that game. If you throw an incomplete pass, you're behind the chains. It gets tough, that balance. And we are confident in Lynn's throwing ability. I will say this. Tennessee's a good matchup with us right now because they are stout up front, as I mentioned, going into the game, and they've been covering very well, and they've been creating a lot of interceptions. So their back end has been playing well. I felt like, even you look at, possession 8, I think when we were stopped on downs, we have a shot there, for a huge play, a potential touchdown or a big gainer, and we miss it. We just miss it by a little bit. So I think every week we look at the best opportunity to win, and you look at a big portion of that game, and you just look at the drive chart, and it frustrates or baffles all of us how you lose a game like that. But you look at the possessions and you look at where we went, we had 1 3 and out all day. And we only had 1 3 and out. And that's the first half of the first possession of the second half. After that, we only have 3 more drives. We drive it for 9 plays, end zone downs. We drive it for another 9 plays, starting from our own 5-yard line. It goes all the way into Tennessee territory again. Overcome a holding call and essentially a 22-yard swing. And ends on downs again there. And then the last drive, you take it and it's a 12 plays and you end up on the 2-yard line. And so, that's tough to answer, right? So put yourself in these shoes. And, because that's a lot of good against a good, defensive team. It's just a matter of finding some explosive plays. And but it is a balance. It is something to think about. It's hard when you have 9 possessions in a game. It's a lot easier to say after the fact, hey, give Sawyer, three series. But every play, every series is so important. And again, with Lynn, we have been very effective. We've been moving the football.
Well, Mark, how hard would that be, though, when you're essentially running the wishbone, more or less, to then throw in a passing quarterback and start running the spread? How realistic is that?
It is hard. However, we do work on our base offense all week, and Lynn does it as well. So if Lynn's not a quarterback, all of our players and the route running and everything is still there. A lot of the core of our offense is still there. Now, some of the unique plays built for Lynn are totally new.
Just in terms of timing and all that, I would think it would be really hard to do.
It is hard. It is. There's no question. There's no doubt about it. You have to, continue to build to your strengths and what you feel give you the best opportunity to win.
When you can only take so many kind of aggressive shots offensively, does it also, when the margin of error is that thin, does that affect defensively how aggressive you want to play?
No, I don't really think it is, because defensively we're really, we're trying to stop them every time. And, defensively it was frustrating. It was equally as frustrating because I felt like we played extremely well in so many cases. And then the frustration comes in on a certain amount of plays that really dictate the outcome of a game. And, I think they had 11.
3 of their third downs on that first drive.
Yeah.
And they converted them.
Yeah.
Was there anything like theme to those plays?
To which ones?
On that first scoring drive, I think they had 3 third and longs they converted before getting.
Yeah. Well, we blitzed and played man. They beat us. We played zone. They beat us. They scrambled for one, if I'm not mistaken, which we didn't have we didn't execute the game up front. So we run the game up front correctly. I don't believe he scrambles for the first down on one of them. So, a few plays here and there. But, when you look at the defense, I want to say, what was it, 11 carries by the running backs for 37 yards? I mean, that's pretty good. You go into the game, you tell me beforehand that that's going to be the case. That's pretty effective. And the quarterback got out on a critical third down. He got out on a 3rd and long that it gave him better field positions on their first field goal, I want to say, which we were playing, far, back, right there, because we didn't want to give them a one-on-one. That they ended up winning later, with those wideouts. That's the last thing you want to do in that situation on a 3rd and extra long, is give up a jump ball to one of those dudes that could come down with it. And, we saw that, and, that again, we said it going into the game. You heard me talking about it. That was going to be a critical point in the game. The 50-50 balls of handling their wideouts. And really, to me, that was the difference. We played extremely well defensively. We gave up some 50-50 balls that they got every one of them. And, that obviously was, their points.
Is it tough to prepare for that going into the game when you're kind of strapped at quarterback and both of your 50-50 wide receivers are injured?
Yeah. I was going to use a word that I probably shouldn't. I'll get quoted on. You know what I mean? I'm going to use a different S word. It stinks.
Talk about Vandy.
Vandy is a team that, you know they're going to play extremely hard. You know they're going to be well coached. I know Coach Mason's going through a hard time right now, and again, it's just like all of us. The league is there's no mercy. Look around. You know, look around the league. It's hard on all of us, and but you know they're going to be well coached. You know, tremendous running back in Vaughn, and you know, very much building offense around him. He could hurt you running the ball, and also in receiving, that you've seen him make some extremely explosive plays in the screen game. Talented tight end and wide receiver. So, you know, and they're going to play extremely hard. I mean, look what they did. You know, I think they shocked everybody a few weeks back when Missouri was rolling and rolling darn good. And Vandy goes in there and plays exceptionally well. So it's every week. You better concentrate on yourself and get ready to play, because you expect a very hard-fought game from them.
Mark, you mentioned that the middle of the pack is jumbled. So when you look at that and think about going against Vanderbilt, how do you match up against them defensively, or how they compare to you guys defensively?
You know, it's about us. You know, and you know, it's about execution and doing these little things. You've seen the games, and it's not lip service. It comes down to several games, you know, several plays in every game, and whether you make them or not. Even if you go back to the Missouri game and you feel like we really pulled away from that game, but it really comes down to a couple big plays that got to that point, that was able to stretch it out a little bit. So you always got to expect, to be prepared for a tight game and make the plays when it matters. I expect nothing else except a hard-fought game. You know, I know Derek and his pride and the pride of that program, and I know him. He's going to coach him extremely hard and have him ready to play. Expect nothing less going in there.
Is there an urgency with this week to try to get out in front of the bowl eligibility deal with not having to go into these last two games? You need 2 wins after this weekend?
Yeah, every game, you know, to us, we feel like is extremely important, you know, and so, you know, no different in that regard. You know, we felt the urgency last week, and again, I can't fault our players. I really appreciate their preparation and you know, their attitude and the way they went about it, and you know, we got to all work together and pick ourselves up and go back, you know, go back at it. And y'all probably get tired of hearing me say that, but you look around. I have listened to a little bit of the news last night and other games or pro teams, and hear those pro coaches saying the same thing. I mean, what are you going to do? Those poor guys, they got to play, what, 18 games? That's rough, you know, so yeah, it's tough.
When you say you're confident in Lynn's throwing abilities, passing, is he confident in his throwing ability? It seemed like there were some plays where they're called pass plays, but he took off running, which I don't blame him. He can really run the ball. And is there a fine line there?
It is. You know, it's a tough balance there, truthfully, because Lynn really does have confidence in throwing ability and wants to throw it, and it probably at times, you know, wants to keep him more off balance, and we do as well. You know, you watch that game, and here's part of it. They didn't necessarily play a lot like Missouri, where they just completely loaded the box. You know, as I told you against Missouri, I felt like there were definitely pass plays there. The weather dictated it, and we were creating some explosive plays in the run game. So we didn't have to go to it as much by the way they were playing. Tennessee didn't go to that extreme. They mixed it in and did a nice job, but again, we created very explosive run plays. But they didn't just wholesale put everybody up there, you know, to just give us some, I should say, you know, give us the greater opportunity of throwing the ball, you know. So you have to see how teams play you, because those guys have been covering good. So a couple of those, you know, where we had some pass plays, it wasn't like he had quick game, you know, really free throws. And there's times where that takes, you know, a rhythm. It takes timing. It takes, you know, proper reads on the side, and he does a lot of things good. We just got to try to put him in the best position we can, and predictable pass is not the best situation to be in. But, you know, I will say that's where we've done a really good job of keeping people off balance when we are in third and medium. I want to say in this game, was it 2 or 3 at least 3 third and longs, or 2 third and longs, at least 1 third and medium, keeping them off balance with run game, converting them. So at least with the threat of throwing, it keeps him off balance there. So, at least we're keeping him honest in that regard.
After the game on Saturday, Jordan Griffin said in the backfield, he felt like part of why he might have, or at least the secondary might have missed some of the 50-50 balls because he thought there was some miscommunication there. He said, you can tolerate a 50-50 ball, but you can't miscommunicate at this point in the year. What do you guys do to make sure that you tighten that up with the games of the year?
I can't really explain exactly which one he's talking about because there were some communication things that we were on his butt about during the game, but not on the 50-50 balls. In the 50-50 balls, he knew what was coming. He was lined up perfect, played it exceptionally well. He actually backed up, played outside. He knew exactly what play was coming, and he was perfect in his thought. And Coach Klink had him ready for it. It was perfect. He just missed the play. So, and the one on Eccles, I have to tip my hat to them. That throw and catch, the one that they initially ruled out, but then came in, that was a hard play to defend right there. Where that ball was thrown and the way he came in with that was an extremely nice play. That's two off the top of my head right there I was thinking of. And then Jamari, I felt like he needs to be more confident. We need to work on him. There was a couple that he had that we need to contest those further coming down. So there's zero communication on that. It's a matter of catching the ball, playing the ball and playing it to the ground. That's two right there. That's four. That there was zero communication errors. But he might have been thinking of other things that we were on their butt about during the game.
Yeah, Bryce and Ahmad will be back this week.
I hope both of them will be back this week. We'll see. I was told that both of them were close. Both of them were better today. So hopefully they'll be out there.
After the game on Saturday, you lamented how, especially in short yardage situations, your team was so one-dimensional. I mean, if Sawyer really is healthy, why the hesitancy in maybe putting him in and giving yourself another dimension?
I don't recall exactly if I phrased it exactly how you just did right there, but as I mentioned, if you go through that game and you really study it and watch it and you look at the drives and the efficiency that we did have, it was extremely good. Now, with that being said, understanding that we have to cap off a few plays, but getting to that point, the efficiency was pretty darn good. So, that is a tough balance right there, and it's a fair question. It's hard to do. Put it like this, the last three drives, 9 plays, 12 plays, you get that one in, and I do that something different. You're sitting here calling me a complete idiot, right? I mean, right? You get that last 2 yards, what are you all saying? Really, think about it. What would you say to me then?
Last week, a lot of fans are worried about you heading to Florida State. And this past few days, some people are trying to fire you. What are you just making?
As I said last week, I guess it's better than the alternative, right? See, I never get too far in front of my skis. Trust me. Let's worry about Vandy. And that's all my concentration is. And our team was ready, and we'll get them ready again, and that's all it is. But yeah, you're right. That's the nature of this job. One minute they love you, the next week they're trying to run you out of here. And I am very thankful for the job I have.
When you lose a tough game like that, it's obviously emotional. What do you say to a bunch of recruits who are coming in?
I was so encouraged by the recruiting aspect of it. There were guys texting me afterwards till late in the evening and picking me up, and I was like, I can't tell you how much that means to me. I needed a little pickup right now, and guys were really encouraged. And this is a special group. It's a tight group, and I think their unity within the commits is affecting guys that are on the fringe. And I think we have a chance to really put a special class together.
Mark, you said, as you said, when you lost a game like that, but you did a lot of good things, and fans and media sometimes don't look at that. Who are some guys who played well, who stuck out to you on the film?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, in general, you always look at Lynn, the way he plays and the heart and the soul that he plays with, was remarkable. I thought our defensive line played very well. There were times in that game where we did have the opportunity to double some wideouts and to play with an extra guy to the pass game because of the threat that they had. If you're doing that, you have to be able to handle things up front. And I really felt like, across the board, the guys up front really had a great control of the line of scrimmage. So that was very helpful.
Mark, it looked like Marcos Embry might have been dressed out for the first time this season Saturday. Just where is he in his rehab process?
Yeah.
What can he do?
He's working his way back in there. He really is. He's been practicing a couple weeks. We're close to getting him into a game. So he's getting there. He's his knee, seems stronger and stronger each and every week. And we've actually explored, because of the need, we feel like we have some good depth outside and we need some help inside. We've actually been repping him a lot inside. And that can help us, in the future for next year as far as because now you're talking about a big guy, big, strong guy that can move in there. And so, that's been something we've been working on for a few weeks.
Mark, there's understandably a lot of focus on the 4th and goal play from the 2. What happened on the 3rd and 1 play with Rodriguez?
Really, that was a close play. They ended up really just, to be honest with you, one of their overhang players just they brought him, and so our puller had to take him, or else they were going to hit him in the backfield, which left a one-on-one with a linebacker, and they made the play. And it was hard on Chris because normally we expect him to get that yard with a profile run right there and near leg and near shoulder and run him over, or get him sideways. But the way he saw it kind of late, he squared him up and made a good goal line tackle there. If Chris has a little better vision, he could get him a little bit more on the side and get that yard or jump. But it wasn't clean, right there. It's not on Chris, and they made a nice play.
Chris has been compared a little bit to Benny, but one of those plays, he took off. I'm not sure I knew that he was fast. Is he faster anyway?
I think, Chris is kind of one of those guys that, you see him getting those very tough yards, and I think each of our backs have been very productive and given us a lot and given us explosive plays. And I think again, I'm not jabbing at anybody, but it's like early in the year, it's like, why aren't you playing this guy, or why aren't you playing that guy, or why aren't you playing that guy? It's like every game it could be this back or another. All three of them have given us explosive plays and looked really dynamic at times, so they all are deserving of the reps that they're getting. They've all done some really good things.
Does that game change up how you enter the game with your rotation, or is it one of those things where Eddie kind of just whoever's the hot hand?
Yeah, I think he may look at some of that. We may look at some of that, but at this point, it's probably more. The fans and the media make more of that than we do, because we feel like during the game, you don't know where those explosive runs are going to play. You got to realize there's a lot of things that are RPOs on that as well, where, he's handing it off. And there was times when we had some throws in there as well, with RPOs that I think, Lynn, again, just looking at it, once he looks at it on film, he's like, okay, I could have thrown this one. He had a few options there, to throw a little bit more. So,
do they tend to have more success in certain plays, or is like each running back's better at one thing, or is it just whatever the defense gives you?
I think that's fair to say to some extent, but overall, no. You're splitting hairs. But maybe some guy's better at a gap scheme. Maybe he's reading things better, hitting it tighter, trusting it, than others. But in general, you're splitting hairs there.
Have you seen Lynn continue to grow as an emotional leader? Because after that game in the locker room, he was saying that he had to rally the troops, keep them on the same page. How have you seen that role on that side of things grow for him?
Yeah, that's really encouraging to see from him. And, it doesn't surprise me, because he has grown so much. And, that's fun to see. It really is. Because every player is different. You know, the way they handle things is different. The way they were brought up, they're different. They're all different. And, you know, it's good. It's good because, you know, he and I, as we go through the ups and the downs and the years, you know, there's times when, you know, he could pull himself back much quicker. And if he's having a tough day, tough play, you know, he's a true competitor and handle himself, you know, much more professionally. And that's, you know, that's what I tell him, you know, and I give it to him where I said, you're better than that. You know, you're above that now. And, you know, he has handled things much better. I'm very proud of him in that way and the growth that he's made.
Back in signing day, there was a lot of talk about speed and playmaking in this freshman class. Now that you're in that, there's only 4 games left. Are there offensive guys in that class that can do some of those explosive things?
Yeah, it's hard to just throw them in there, just sheer speed or ability. You know, with us and the explosiveness and the balance, as we were talking about in the past game, and the fair questions on whether to go with Sawyer or not and everything, it does get hard to what you evolve to, what you morph to. And that's part of it, you know, as coaching, to put him in the best position you can. I understand frustration and throw it. I mean, we are a much different football team right now than we were in games 1 and game 2. And as I said earlier, I have to, you know, give credit. I know people, the easiest target in the world outside of me is an offensive coordinator, you know, and they just, you know, everybody, you got bullseye on your chest every day, every play. And I could promise you they've worked their tail off putting guys in position to be successful, and we've had to morph into what we're doing. But that's where a seasoned veteran helps you immensely. And so I know we're not perfect. I'm not looking for a pat on the back, but I have to recognize those guys in the job that they're doing and putting guys in position. But we are different right now than we were, you know, with Terry and with Sawyer. You know, look at the first 3 games and look at us now, and we've had to do what we had to do to try to win games. Again, we're not perfect. We got to find a way that's not some BS coaching cliche. We're close, you know what I mean? And you got to play here or play there against some very good teams, and you know, but I can promise you they're all battling.
Mark, Vanderbilt Stadium is a weird place to play. It's cold and gray, and the Vandy fans don't really make a whole lot of noise. How important is it for Big Blue Nation to kind of show up and force and support the team?
Well, it's very important to have our fans there. I think there's no mistake that our fans like going to Nashville. It's close. They could drive. Much of the state is very close to getting to that stadium, and so hopefully we'll have a lot of fans there. And I know all of our players love seeing their family and their friends in the Big Blue Nation, and we hear them, you know, and you know, we played well the last time we were in there, and hopefully we'll go and play good this year and this week. You know, I am going to change things just slightly from our Friday routine as far as leaving a little earlier, getting down there. We're going to go over and go to the Titans indoor facility and have a brief workout once we get there on Friday, to try to just not have that monotony of a long bus ride, getting off there and going right to the hotel. So we're going to leave earlier, go there, grab a quick lunch, have some meetings, go have a quick workout, and come back. So hopefully that'll change some things up, because I wasn't real pleased with the last time I drove to Tennessee, you know, so you know, hopefully that'll help.
Okay, folks, to have Josh and Lonnie
What's
on the
that?
field. How special was it to have Josh and Lonnie back in town?
Always good. Always great to see those guys with a big smile on their face, so proud of them, and all the ex-players. And just ran into Jordan Jones here a few minutes ago, and always like seeing the players. So, good. Yep. Thank you.